Now, overall in the NFL, this isn't your first camp. So getting back into that grind again, you're getting hit with 96 degrees a couple of days so far. What's that transition period for you personally when you kind of flip that switch and you're back to work?
It's been great. I mean, yeah, that was my first training camp, those first 2 days when it was 98 or whatever. And I asked Kirk, he's like, yeah, this is the hottest it's been since I've been here. So I had something to look forward to, I guess, with this weather coming up. So it's been great. I mean, it is one of those things. Training camp is hard. It's meant to be that way. And as a person, it's good to do things that are hard. Push yourself out of your comfort zone and be with these guys. It has been incredible. And you do have to flip your mind, flip your switch for training camp, and then again for the season. So just excited to be here and learning a lot.
Coming from Detroit, you played with guys like Jesse James and Darren Fells, but here, now you got Josh Oliver here and not going to have to play in 11 personnel a ton, going to be a ton of different packages. So talk about your teammate Josh and what he's going to bring to the office and what you two can do as a tandem.
I mean, yeah, he's a great player. I mean, if you look at him, I mean, he looks like another guy that
like
can
Hulk,
be on the
yeah.
line. Yeah, I mean, he's just jacked. So to be in there in the huddle with him, he's a smart player too, a grinder, and it's been incredible to be here. And the whole tight end room has been incredible. I mean, we got really good guys in there, and really good group. So just excited about that and excited to get started.
How much has changed from last season to this season with new plays and all that? Does that stuff? I mean, do you guys get into that right away, or is that stuff you get early, like in mini camps and all that? Do you fire away with all the new stuff right off the bat, or do you wait till getting pads on Monday?
I think it's an ever-changing league. It's an ever-changing playbook. I mean, you go from week to week. One team will do something, we like it and we want it, and we'll call it. So. Or we'll do something, it's an ever-changing league. So when we're in OTAs and we come back, they have a lot of time to think about things, think about our playbook, and things change. So you just have to always be ready to be on the move, think quick, and the amount of personnel, like you said, we're doing. There's a lot of thinking, but it's starting to become second nature, and really just like you said, being here for a whole off season and really just understanding the language has been a true, really good aspect for me, and I'm just excited to be a part of it.
That's Vikings tight end TJ Hockenson. It's the Saturdays with Sauce production out here on the Perch at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. Now, I saw this on social media. I don't need you to divulge anything, but at one point Kirk jumps in, gathers everyone around. Maybe there's like a half-hour-long conversation of some sort, and what I'm getting at with that is just the leadership of Kirk. So you come in and it's immediately, let's go to work, let's handle business, as Saucy mentioned against Washington last year. Season ends not the way you wanted, but now you're back, and now you've spent some of that time with Kirk, and whether it's the exposure of the recent documentary or what you're seeing now in training camp, the leadership of Kirk Cousins commanding this offense.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of a kind, just a truly great person. One of the best I've ever been around, just as a human being, really cares about his people, this team, the organization, how he carries himself, and I mean, you guys saw it in the Netflix special. I mean, just a guy that really cares about what we do. He wants to win, and he walks around that building like that. He holds us all to a high standard, and like I say, he really cares about who he's talking to, and he's very intentional every day that he comes in this building.
So Sauce is wearing a Twins hat. We saw you were out at the Twins game. How'd that go?
Yeah, it was solid. I mean, I really enjoyed Target Field to be out there with those guys. I could have had probably a better first pitch. Probably should have warmed up a little bit, but it was a good time. I haven't picked up a baseball since probably sophomore year of high school, so it's a little different than a football. You can't really.
Yeah. Was that tight ends coach Angelico that tried to give you a pat on the back as you were interviewing on TV?
Yeah, that's my guy, Ange. Yeah, his situational awareness is suspect. So him doing that did not surprise me at all. So I loved it.
So when you were traded here, a lot of the Vikings fans are obviously pumped, but I think the most excited everybody in Minnesota got was when you went to that Wild game. and had a couple of beers. Man, what was it like being at that Wild game? And you sat right down in the stands. You know, there are some NFL players that would probably sit up in the suite, not be bothered by anybody, but you got right in the mix, man. Have you always been a hockey fan?
Yeah, I mean, my brothers grew up playing hockey, you know, and then we moved away from a big city, so it was hard to get me on a rink. So I've kind of grown up around a hockey family, and then to be up here, you're truly in a hockey state, you know. So to get down there in the fans, be with all the people, and be able to chug some beers with the fans, and just really interact with all these guys. I mean, the people and the community is incredible. You know, we were able to share some, you know, passing them around. So it was a great time, you know, and hopefully I'll be there a few times this year.
So, as fans, that's what we are. We call ourselves Rubes. We're adult man children. We just love you guys, love this team, want you to win every game.
We're just not wearing the bibs today.
When I'm watching practice and walk through, certainly in some ways uneventful, just kind of going through the motions, then you're going to come out later and actually put a helmet on and run through some of this stuff. We as fans, we're always looking for somebody that wows us, right? It's the rookie, it's the free agent. We're talking about Josh Oliver. We're looking for somebody that wows us. And I'm curious in some instances where, as a player, does it happen to you where you're out there in a walkthrough or a practice and one of your guys, you just barely get to know him, he's in a meeting room somewhere, but he wows you in practice? How often does that happen?
I mean, yeah, it happens. You know, there's guys, especially in the NFL, you know, there's guys that are coming in and out of our locker room, rookies that are coming in, free agents that are coming in, and you know, like you say, I mean, I got traded halfway through the season last year. Coming in and seeing JJ, that was like, there's nobody like that guy in the league, you know. And and I've been around some really good receivers too, you know, and there's just nobody like him. And then coming in and seeing Jordan Addison, you know, he's got the route running capability.
He's really fluid, right?
Yeah, I mean, he runs his routes well. There's not many wasted movements, and he's just a guy that you know, you'll get that every once in a while, that wow factor. And so there's a bunch of guys out on the grass that does that, you know, and it is fun to be able to have this job and to see that firsthand.
There was a lot of highs and lows last year, especially in the second half of the year. Do you prefer that as an athlete, somebody who kind of rides the roller coaster where you have amazing highs like that Colts game, or obviously a low, or would you rather it be kind of more steady as the season goes along?
I mean, obviously, you want as a player, you want to be steady. I mean, you can't ride the roller coaster. I mean, they talk about in every leadership book and everything that you read, you know, they talk about just being the steady person, being somebody that you know, this organization, your teammates can rely on. So week to week, you know, you win, it's the next week. You know, you lose, it's the next week. So to be able to be the same person to come into this building, to come on this grass, practice, you got to be steady. You know, you can't be riding that roller coaster.
Time for a couple more with you, TJ. Whether it's your tight ends coach, situational awareness and everything aside, the work that he does with you guys in that room specifically, and another guy, and I'll be honest, on the radio when we're talking about the offense, we're talking about head coach Kevin O'Connell, and that connection with Kirk and what that looks like and how that can grow now as he gets year two with that tandem together. Tell me about, if you can, Wes Phillips and how pivotal he is into putting everything together, offering that position as offensive coordinator. I don't think Wes gets enough conversation around him, and I just want to learn more about him.
Yeah, I mean, Wes Phillips, I mean, he's a guy that was a tight ends coach in L.A., and then coming here, you know, I have a really good relationship with Wes. You know, it's been incredible to be a part of him and then have him coach us, because he has seen those things as a tight end. So he'll come over, watch our individual. He'll give us some tidbits and tell us some things to do. But his overall picture of things and how he sees things, how he sees leverages, and how he coaches is one of a kind. Because you know, like you talk about steady. I mean, that's Wes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a guy that will show up, be himself every day, and have fun with it too. I mean, he loves the job, he loves the game, and you can tell that as a player seeing him work.
Last question, non-football, two-part question. How's the golf game, and what's the best golf course you played this offseason?
The golf game was pretty solid in the summer.
Okay.
I would say it started out rocky, but it ended up pretty good. So I would say the best golf course was Whistling Straits. We took the
Very
boys.
nice.
Yeah,
that's
the
badass.
whole line.
Kohler, Wisconsin,
and a couple guys went out there, and we were able to stay in the Kohler Mansion, hang out with those guys, and truly first-class experience. And then, like I say, being around the boys. That's all we want to do. That's all we want to hang out with. So it was an incredible place and one of a kind for sure.
Well, best of luck this season. We're all cheering for you. Everybody's excited to have you here. Hopefully having a wonderful season. This offense could score a ton of points.
Can't wait.
Thank you so much. That's TJ Hockenson, the Vikings tight end. We'll be back right after this on The Fan.